Hey, this is Roz, and you're about to watch a video on pixel art. For the one that kind of crumbles, it's going to be mostly black with the white lines as the kind of the contours. So kind of contrasting the two to make sure the player learns and understands that one of them crumbles. And for that, I'll build animations later. These are kind of the two pieces. Eventually, we're going to make them kind of have different variations so that the game doesn't look identical everywhere. But we'll come back to that later. For now, we're just making the core pieces. Then I want some spikes that can sit only on the solid pieces. So those, when you touch them, you die. And then I want a player, and then I want an enemy. So kind of, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 core pieces. So very simple. And hopefully we can finish drawing all of those in this evening, so that next time we can start getting into Unity and then do animations and whatnot later. Okay, so I talked a lot. I'm gonna start drawing now. So the first thing I'm gonna do is, again, I'm gonna be drawing all of this with the mouse, just because it will be very simple. And one quick trick that I want to show you first. So, like any other program, you can undo in Photoshop, but I'm first gonna just do like a freehand form, and you'll see that it's drawing within those lines because those are actual pixels. And the other thing is that if I want to draw a straight line, I can hold Shift, and even if my cursor kind of flows around, it's only going to go in a straight line. So with that in mind, those are pretty much the only techniques that I want to show right now. I'm going to draw a straight line at the top here, and this is kind of where the player will sit, right on top here, on top of this. And then the piece that I'm building right now is the first kind of piece that can crumble. So I'm gonna then draw a straight line down, and I'm not drawing straight on my head right here. I have some images that I'm looking at, kind of like references from other games, not necessarily pixel art, but just like kind of like Mario style games. So I want to go possibly like this, maybe 2/3 or something through the height of this, and you'll see what I'm saying in a second. So if I put some pixels here, and then kind of same thing on this other side. Alright, so kind of like that. This is basically the platform at the top, and you'll see it doesn't occupy the whole 25 by 25, but this is my core building block, so I'm going to be reusing this shape. So I'll stick to this for now. And then kind of to not make it very symmetrical, I'm gonna press X, which switches to my black color. And actually, I'm not gonna do that because I want this separate from the background, even though it's kind of hard to tell because of Photoshop's background. I'm not gonna be exporting this black background. I'm only gonna be exporting kind of the shape on the ground layer. So instead of erasing it like that, I'm going to go to the eraser tool, make this also 1 pixel, and then probably actually I'm not going to use the eraser tool because I don't want to go into more advanced feathering and stuff like that. I'm actually going to just use the marquee selection tool instead, just because it's more precise for what I'm trying to do. And again, I'm using Photoshop for something that's probably not very good at, but which is pixel art. So I'm gonna use the marquee selection, which is this thing, and the rectangular one specifically, and I'm going to kind of like, again, 2/3 through it or so, select this, go on the ground layer, and cut that. So that just eliminates that pixel there, because I want to make kind of a groove, and if I start drawing a line up, you'll see why. So I'm kind of starting to like split up that shape and make it slightly more interesting. Um, and towards the top here, maybe, let's see, maybe 3 layers down or so. I'm gonna draw a line here, and you kind of see where this is going already. So if I zoom out a little bit, see how it's starting to like kind of look like a rock piece. That imagine the player is like jumping on this. So you kind of see that already. And then, you know, kind of similarly eliminate some pixel, maybe the one right here. And then draw a line over here. And you see it's starting to look a bit like a rock piece. I want to make this slightly more interesting here where this side meets. So kind of similarly, just draw something like that. Eliminate this pixel here. And I keep switching between the pencil and the marquee when I try to delete something. Yeah, and that's, you know, I think that's sufficient for this piece. It should communicate to me right now that this, you know, the player can jump on this and do crazy things. So I'm going to rename this. By the way, I just double click the layer if I want to rename it. So I'm gonna rename it something with the word crumble in it. Let's see. What about breakable or ground breakable? And I'll have a ground stable or something. And also I'm gonna select the whole thing and use the move tool and just press on my keyboard. Maybe that doesn't work. Just drag with my mouse, shift and drag so it snaps. Just drag the whole thing down a little bit so that there's a ridge at the top. It's not important right now, but I just want a little gap between where the player steps and the actual platform. But yeah, that's kind of it for the first layer. So I'm gonna kind of make this invisible. I just click on the eye here. Hey, if you enjoyed the content, leave a message below, like and subscribe.